Yeah.
Which is the last service before gospel break.
Yeah.
And so we're for the Hakafah going from da 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 da, and it's going to be fun. I'm excited about it.
Imitzion tetzeh Torah, Dvar Adonai, Yerushalayim.
And we get to do the whole,
That's good. Dayenu. Dayenu. Old enough to remember the TV show called Welcome Back, Papa?
Rabbi, can we just let them in?
You are.
Rabbi?
Yeah.
Are we good for them to come in?
Sure. So Welcome Back, Papa. This is a great show about this guy was a teacher in Bronx, Brooklyn, and you know, just like this tough school, tough high school, anyway. So we got also John Travolta was who watched it in not talking. Yo, Mr. Kate. Use the word officiate for me in a sentence, and this is the reason why I want to be so interested. Use the word officiate for me in the sentence. Okay. My Uncle Louis died of officiate. So funny. That's so funny. So every time I use the word officiate, I think that my Uncle Louis died of officiate. You saw the show on the good students. Right? We watched it. Arnold Portia. Juan Epstein, who was pets. Juan who whose voice came into class with an excuse that he wrote. Right? Signed to Epstein's mother. Right? Because his excuse was Juan Epstein's mother. So I was like, these were actually there. Yeah. Test, test. Test, test, test. I don't think it's. Test. Test, test, test. Now it's on. Now it's on. Test, test. If
campiness on it. But
do it, do clipper.
yeah,
But still, my point is that it's really nice.
thanks.
Now, where's your book? Start. Just start playing. I'm going to start with Modani, and then we'll do Matuka later, after I roll. Go ahead.
Rabbi emunatecha. Raba emunatecha. Raba emunatecha.
Welcome, everybody. So glad to have you here with us. My name is Rabbi Ari Goldstein. To my left, Cantor Gabe Snyder. This is Temple Beth Shalom, our synagogue's name. Temple Beth Shalom, not named after someone who was Beth. Rather, Beth means house, house of shalom, of peace. And we hope that your experience with us this morning is peaceful, is calm, is meaningful in here. And there are a number of ways to achieve a sense of peace. Some are within your control, some are not. Because peace comes in the form of physical peace, which means that if you're being distracted by others around you, it can be kind of hard. So do the best that you can to provide a sense of peace to those around you by not being loud or, unnecessarily giggling or talking. Also, if you have, one of these things, if you don't mind, please make sure that it is at minimum on the vibrate position so it doesn't make a sound during the service. While we're at it, please do not use that device that is in your pocket or currently in your hand, but going to your pocket. Do not use it for taking pictures or video or recording. If you want to see just how great Sophia was at this bat mitzvah, you can watch it again by going to our website. We stream it, and then I know it stays on our cloud stuff for at least a few weeks. So if you really want to go back and watch it again, you're welcome to do so that way instead of by having to see a much more amateur phone recording that you made yourself. So please, just leave the phone in your pocket. We greatly appreciate it. But a sense of spiritual peace, that's for you. You are welcome to join us as much or as little as you want. I am aware that there are friends here from Camp Harlem. And so Cantor Snyder has intentionally picked a couple of songs which are a little bit more familiar to those who go to Camp Harlem, or at least who went to Camp Harlem, 30 years ago.
How old do you think I am?
I don't know, 30?
Okay.
Or who went to Camp Harlem 45 years ago, which would be me. So we picked all the songs from 45 years. No, we'll do the best. He's young. He knows what he's doing. I don't. But please join with us. The service will be led by Sophia for the majority of the time. And she will tell you, if this is your first time in a synagogue, and we understand that for some it may be, we'll do our best to tell you what page we're on with regularity. We will do our best to make you feel like you can participate. But if it's your instinct just to sit and be a viewer, you're welcome to do that too. This is the book we'll be using for at least the beginning of the service. It's called Mishkan Tefillah. I will refer to this as your prayer book. There is another book that looks similar to this, and on the cover it says The Torah. If you have a book that says The Torah, we'll be using that later, but every time I refer to the book, I'm talking about the prayer book, unless I specifically say The Torah. And so we're on page 192. This is the singing of Ma Tovu, in which we thank God for providing such a beautiful place for us to pray in. 192, Ma Tovu. Ma Tovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Ohalecha Mishkenotecha Yisrael, Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael, Va'ani ברוב חסדך אבוא ביתך אשתחווה אל היכל קודשך תפילתי לך, אדוני, רצון אלוהים, ברוב חסדך, ענני באמת אישך. We're happy at this time to call upon loved ones to lead us in English readings. I'm going to invite you to come here to the Bema. We'd like to call upon Mike and Julie Davidson, along with Lisa Gottman, to come on forward and lead us in these readings. I think we're missing somebody. Got it.
My soul came to me pure, drawn from the reservoir of the holy. All the time it remains within me, I am thankful for its thirst, for compassion and justice. Let my eyes behold the beauty of all creatures. Let my hands know the privilege of righteous deeds.
Baruch atah Adonai asher b'yado nefesh kol chai v'ruach kol basar ish.
Amen.
We're now on page 199.
Religion embraces both faith and action. The primary quality is action, for it lays the foundation for faith. The more we do good, the more readily do we grasp the meaning of duty and life, and the more readily do we believe in the divine from which stems the good.
All right, it's my pleasure at this time to call upon our Bat Mitzvah of this morning. That she, of course, is Sophia, and she's going to be leading us in the remainder of the service, beginning on page 198. What's going to happen is that we are going to do, this is a prayer called Nisim Bechol Yom, in which we do this, or when I say we, I mean she. She do this, chanted in Hebrew responsively with us. So What that means is she is going to chant a line in Hebrew, and we are going to respond by chanting the next Hebrew line back. So it goes not just on 198, but it also goes on page 200 and 202 as well. Here is the thing. If you are thinking to yourself, I don't know the chant, so I will not participate. The chant is easy, consistent, very easy to catch on. If you're saying, all right, I'm somewhat musical, I probably could catch on with the chant. However, I don't know how to read Hebrew. Again, we have an answer for that because next to the Hebrew, as you can see, is the English transliteration. You have no excuse not to participate. Now, you might finally want to just one more thought. You might be thinking to yourself, this whole bat mitzvah thing, it's much easier than we've all been led on to believe. Because if she has the English transliteration alongside the Hebrew, how hard can this be? I mean, you're probably thinking, I'm here, I'm about to do this with her. I haven't even practiced one time. Yes. If you look that in this sanctuary, there is one, maybe two, probably one copy of the prayer book, which is a different shade of blue. Don't worry, it's not yours. This one does not have the English transliteration. Sophia's gone from the Hebrew. Everyone else, your choice. It's dealer's choice. You can go from the Hebrew or the transliteration. Page 198, this is Nisim B'chol Yom, the blessing for everyday miracles. And let's chant this responsively.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan nosek vivina lahavim ben yom uven laila.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kefufim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokach haaretz hamayim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamechin mitzadei gaver.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arumim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanoten le'ya'ef koach.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hama'avir shana me'enai u'nima me'afapai.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tselem Elohim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani batarim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam otzer Yisrael b'gvura.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael b'tifara. All right, our service continues now with Psalm 150, which is called Hallelujah. We can find it on page 218 in our Sidurs.
Which number is it?
Hallelujah.
Teka shofar, Hallelu benevel b'chinor, Hallelu b'tovu makol, Hallelu b'minim ve'urgam. Shama, Hallelu, b'tziltzalei trua, kol hanshama tehalelia, kol hanshama tehalelia.
Page 313. This is the Baruch Hu, which is our call to worship, and we'd like to invite everyone to please rise.
Oseh shalom uvare et hakol hama'ir la'aretz v'ladarim aleha barachamim uvtuvo mahadesh b'hol yom tamid severeshit ma rabu ma'aseha Adonai kulam b'chokma asita ma'ala charetz kinyaneta tikrach Adonai Eloheinu al shavah ma'aseh yudeha v'al ma'arei tush asita yifa'aruha selah Or Hadash al Sion Ta'ir Nizkeh Kulanu Baruch Hata Adonai Yotzer Hama'aru.
Page 318.
Shema Yisrael Adonai
Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha. Dehayu hadarim ha'ele asher anohi mitzarecha hayom halevavecha v'shinamta levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha uv'letecha b'terech
ושוכבך ובגרונך ושרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We continue on page 321.
Barely loud, but okay. Sing the song.
Sing the song of men and women, joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a peace redeemed, the song of peace.
That song of peace, Micha Mocha, 322.
We continue on with the Tefillah on page 324. Please rise. Adonai sefatata
ufia tehillateka Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Leah Elohei Rachel Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanorah El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei HaKol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot U'Mevei Geula Livnei B'neihem L'man Shemo B'Ahavah Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ezrat Sarah.
You are Toward the open door that beckons me in, peeking around the doorframe, I begin to enter into your glory. You move me forward, O Eternal, to step beyond self-made boundaries, lift my foot over the threshold that I might abide with you in the house of the Eternal. I found my questions waiting to be posed. They filled me with wonder. Sit with me, eternal teacher. Encourage my seeking as I fill my hours with your mitzvot. So shall I be filled. Send me through your door, stretching up to honor your name, sharing out his wonder, enriching myself in the giving. Baruch atah Adonai Mahayeh Hakol.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי ברוך, ככתוב על יד נביאיך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, אלוהי כל הארץ, כבודו. אדיר, אדירנו, אדוני, אדוננו, מדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני במקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. בשבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated.
We continue now. This is oftentimes a point in the service when those who are unfamiliar with our traditions get a little lost. So allow me to help you. We are currently on the bottom of page 328. And we are about to continue with a song called Vishamru, which speaks about the sweetness and holiness of the Sabbath day.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Bottom of 329.
The meaning of Shabbat is to celebrate time rather than space. 6 days a week we live under the tyranny of things of space. On Shabbat we try to become attuned to holiness and time. It is a day on which we are called upon to share what is eternal in time, to turn from the results of creation to the mystery of creation, from the world of creation to the creation of the world. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
Amen.
On this Shabbat day, as you graciously receive our prayers, help us to hear your call. Grant us enough health to fulfill your duties and the compassion we need to attend to others. Teach us humility that we may perceive our own faults, and grant us the wisdom to be forgiving of others. Give us the courage to be true to our highest selves and the charity to see the best in those around us. Give us patience enough not to become discouraged, hope enough to overcome all fears for the future, and faith enough to know your own presence. O source of blessing, look with favor upon us. May our offerings be acceptable to you. Baruch atah Adonai she'o ha'lavata b'yirah na'avod. We continue responsively by paragraph on page 332.
All right, so let me tell you what to expect. Responsibly by paragraph is not the most typical instruction. So what it means is that Sophia is going to read the first paragraph, and then we're going to read the next paragraph, and it's going to go back and forth on both 332 and 333. Now, each time the paragraph concludes, both when she does it and when we do it, with the three simple words, modim anachnu lach. Those words mean simply, we give you thanks. These are expressions that we can think of in which we sometimes take for granted. We don't realize how meaningful and important they are, and we are now kind of uttering our appreciation for things we take for granted in this prayer on page 332 and 333.
For the expanding grandeur of creation, worlds known and unknown, galaxies beyond galaxies, filling us with awe and challenging our imaginations. Modim and Nachnu Lach.
Together, for this fragile planet Earth, its times and tides, its sunsets and seasons, Modim Anachnu Lach.
For the joy of human life, its wonders and surprises, its hopes and achievements, Modim and Nachnu Lach.
For human community, our common past and future hope, our oneness transcending all separation, our capacity to work for peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression, Modim Anachnu Lach.
For high hopes and noble causes, for faith without fanaticism, for understanding of views not shared, Modim and Nachnu Lach.
For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom, Modim Anachnu Lach.
For human liberties and sacred rights, for opportunities to grow and change, to affirm and choose, Modim Anachnu Lach.
We pray that we may live not by our fears, but by our hopes, not by our words, but by our deeds. Baruch atah Adonai hatov shimcha ucha na'eh lehodot. Our morning prayer for peace is called Sim Shalom, page 334.
Sim Shalom, Tov uvracha. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Chen v'chesed v'rachamim. Chen v'chesed v'rachamim. V'rachamim. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amecha. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Sim shalom tova uvracha.
We pause for a moment of silent prayer.
Ose shalom bimroma, Uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, bimru. Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, amen. Yai-da-da-dai-dai-dai-dai, yai-dai-dai-dai-dai, yai-da-dai-dai-dai-dai, yai-da-dai-dai-dai-dai. Shalom bimroma, Uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru.
Seder Kriyat HaTorah, which is the service for the reading of the Torah, It can be found beginning on page 362. And at this time, what I'd like to do is invite some people forward for meaningful honors. First, for the honor of passing the scroll from one generation to the next, I'd like to call upon grandmother Lisa, along with Angela and Daniel, of course, to come forward to the bima. I'd also like to call upon Layla Botwinick and Linda Travers for the honor of opening the ark for us. So that's on this side. We're on page 362. It begins with Ein Kamocha, and I'd like to invite everyone to please rise.
Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein kemaasecha, malchutecha malchut, kol olamim, umemshaltecha b'chol dor v'ador. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai imloch, leolam va'ed, Adonai oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Av harachamim hetiva b'rtzonecha et Zion. Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim. Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim. Kivecha levad batachnu, melech el ram v'nisa, Adon olamim. Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, udevar Adonai mirushalayim. Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, udevar Adonai mirushalayim. Baruch shenatan Torah, le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato, yadadai, yadai, 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 yadai.
This is the Torah. According to our tradition, it was given to Moses on Mount Sinai, and after some time, Moses passed the Torah to Joshua. And then Joshua passed the Torah to the elders. And then the elders passed the Torah to the prophets. And then the prophets passed the Torah to the sages. And since it was the sages who wrote that, that's where it ends. However, we know that the Torah did not end in the hand of the sages. Rather, it has been passed from one generation to the next for centuries. And we continue this tradition by passing the Torah now from one generation to the next, from grandmother to parents, until finally it reaches the arms of a bat mitzvah.
Lidor vador nagid kolecha. Lidor vador we protect this chain. From generation to generation. Lidor vador these lips will praise your name.
No, don't cover your face. You know that. Yeah.
As we prepare to pass the Torah into your arms, we accept our place in a long chain of tradition leading up to this moment. This is a moment in time when joy, tears, and gratitude are fused with a strong connection to history and heritage. Many of our loved ones who came before us saw it as a supreme value to pass the Torah to us. Some of them are here with us on this very special day. Others are here only in spirit. All of them are tenderly passing us the Torah so we can, in turn, give it to you. As they gave us the Torah to pass from one generation to the next, along with it comes a message. Always be worthy of this inheritance and pass it along to the generations to come.
1 second. Let me help you transfer this. Good. Come here. Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai
Eloheinu,
Adonai
Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadlu Ladonai Iti, Unoromema Shemo
Yachdav. Let's go this way. I'll take it from you for a second.
ויעשו איש תחת כפנו, ותחת תאנתו, ואין מכרים ואין מחרים, כי פי אדוני צבאות דיבר. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על שלושה דברים.
We call forward Scott Adler and Mark Adler.
על שלושה דברים העולם עומד, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד, על שלושה דברים.
I need you over here one more time to unclasp that. Sure. And you're going to do the same thing a little later on the reverse. Please be seated. Thank you. Here are your verses. Thank you. All right, so this week's Torah portion is called Vayikra, and exciting because it is the name of one of the books of the Torah. It's the book of Leviticus. And trust me, this is exciting. Leviticus, love it. I mean, really, it's just a page turner, Leviticus. Right?
It's the best.
The best,
It's
right.
right in the middle.
Right there.
Yeah.
You're like right in the heart of it, just loving it, right? He has I'll put in a shameless plug for the Canners podcast called Drinking and Droshing. And drosh means to talk about the Torah. Drink means you could use your imagination. So drinking and droshing, and every podcast opens with the Canner giving a little recap of the Torah portion. This one's always a lot of fun, pretty much for the next few months. It's
Yeah.
going to be actually all the way till about September.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
Okay, because the Torah this is where we get to the part which is just so irrelevant to our lives today, or at least seemingly irrelevant. You have to really dig deep. This beginning, Leviticus, is, well, the Levites. And the Levites were the priests. And the priests were the ones who ministered to the sacrifice in the temple. And yeah, You can just use your imagination after that, because now it's a lot of, this is how you do this sacrifice, and this is how you do that sacrifice, and this is when you need to do this specific sacrifice, and this is when you need to do that specific sacrifice. So, if you want some pleasure reading, I encourage you to look to Leviticus chapter 1, verse 1, or if you want me just to tell you the page number, get a load of page 660 if you have this version of the Torah. If, on the other hand, you have this version of the Torah, you can find it on page 757. So again, 757 if you got this one, 660 if you got this one. In just a moment, we will be calling up special people for the honor of something called an aliyah. An aliyah is a blessing for the Torah. We have taken this Torah portion, Vayikra. We have pared it down to a more manageable amount for a young lady or young man. And then we have further subdivided our division into 4, so there can be 4 times in which we bestow this honor. The first honor for the aliyah, we call upon, you can now stand in the middle, we call upon Sophia's tutor, Hal Katzman. Yahamod Tzvi ben Yitzchak the Esther.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayikra al Moshe vayedaber Adonai elav me'ahal moed lemor daber b'nei Yisrael v'amarta lehem Adam ki yakriv mikem korban la'Adonai min habahema min habakar u'min hatzon takrivu et korbanhem Imola korbano min habakar zahar tamim yakrivenu el peta ohel moed vayakriv oto lirtzono lifnei Adonai sama yakdo al rosh ha'olah v'nisala L'chavod Allah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Katzman. Hal. All right, our next aliyah to the Torah, we call upon Lisa, grandmother Lisa, and Kevin Rowe. Tahamod Sivia Shena Leah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Is it Vashichet?
Yeah.
Vashichet.
Vishaka.
Rasha. All right. V'shahatet ben habakar lifnei Adonai v'hikrivu b'nei Aharon hakohanim et amo et adam Zarku et adam hamizbeah saviv asher peta v'hamoed v'hishlit et ha'olah v'nita'ota lintachecha v'natnu b'nei Aharon hakohen esh al hamizbeah zarku Varhu et sim al ha'esh Varhu b'nei Aharon hakohanim et netahim et harosh ve'et piro al ha'etzim asher al ha'esh asher al hamizbeah V'kir bo ukra'av yirhat b'mayim v'iktir hakohen et hakol hamizbecha olahu isha Yehovah la'Adonai.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chai olam nata b'nenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
All right, our next aliyah to the Torah, we call upon your parents, Angela and Dan. Ya Tahamod, Arela Bat Sivia.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Vahed.
Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Vayed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'karban mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
V'imin hatson korbano min haksavim amin hazim la'Allah zahar tamim yakrivenu v'shahat oto al yerech hamizbeach safona lifnei Adonai zarku b'nei Aharon hakohanim et damo al hamizbeach saviv v'nita'oto lintahav et rosho ve'et pidro v'ara hakohen al tam al ha'etzim asher al ha'esh asher al hamizbeach v'hikriv v'hakerev v'hakra'ayim yirhat b'mayim v'hiktir v'hikriv hakohen et hakol v'hiktir hamizbecha olahu isha reach nihoah la'Adonai.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'kei olam natab
Olam nata b'tochenu.
atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
No kisses, but you'll get them, I promise. Our final aliyah to the Torah, we call upon our Bat Mitzvah herself, Sophia. Tahamod Sima Gita Batarella Bat Mitzvah La Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Vahed.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher Baharbani Mikol Hamim Venatan Lanu et Torato Baruchata Baruchata Adonai Notain Hatara.
Amen. Grab that yod.
Min ha'ov ola korbano la Adonai v'hikriv min ha'torim min b'nei hayona et korbano v'hikrivo hakohen lachamis becha umalak et rosho v'hiktir hamis becha Vinim sa damo Pir hamis beya Behesir et morato benotata Behishli ota et sel hamis beya Kedma El makom hadashen Pasha Meshisach ota Meshisach ota Viknafav Lo Yavdil Vihiktir O To Hakohen et Hamizbeach Al Ha'etzim Asher Al Ha'esh Olahu Isher Reach Nihoah La
Adonai.
Here.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam natan v'tzokenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Now give them hugs. Beautiful coming back. It is our custom, hold this in your hand, after listening to the Torah chanted and beautifully as we did, that we lift up the Torah in a tradition that is called Hagbaha, so everyone can see precisely the words that were chanted for us. As we do so, I would once again like to call upon Scott Adler and Mark Adler for the honor of redressing the Torah, and we invite everyone to please rise.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. יאי די 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 יאי די 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 יאי די 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 Yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, dai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, dai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, dai dai dai.
Please remain standing as we return the Torah to the Ark on page 374.
Etz Chaim hi Lamach Azikima Ve'tomchecha Mehushat Teracheha Gartenoam Mechol Netivoteha Shalom Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Kadesh Yameinu Kekesh
seated. I think this is it. Just that? One page? Yeah. And do you do the Haftarah blessing from the book or from here, one of these sheets?
Is it like the thing before?
Yeah, and after.
I can do it either way.
Look at the book open. All right, so each and every Torah portion has its corresponding Haftarah portion. And the Haftarah for this Shabbat, which corresponds to Leviticus, to Vayikra, comes from the prophet Isaiah, or more specifically, Deutero-Isaiah. Now, why do I say more specifically Deutero-Isaiah? Because Isaiah is understood to be the work of at least two, maybe even four authors. There may have been four Isaiahs, but at least two Isaiahs. And the reason why is because the time period upon which that they are speaking, it would just be impossible for someone to span that much time. But even more so that the spirit and the tone of the message is so different. The first Isaiah is one of a chastising Isaiah, and the second one, Deutero-Isaiah, is a comforting Isaiah. And this comes from Deutero-Isaiah, that comforting Isaiah. You know, the Torah portion talks about sacrifices in great measure. The Haftarah, Isaiah, or Deutero-Isaiah, speaks about more of the sacrifices of the heart and the distinction. And so if you would like to follow along with the Haftarah, you can. You can either do this book. You got this one right here. It's on page 682. If you have the other version of the Torah, 978. Now, in just a moment, Sophia is going to begin by chanting the blessing before the Haftarah. Then she's going to chant the Haftarah itself, or part of it. Then she's going to chant the blessing after the Haftarah. And if that is not enough, we ask each and every one of our Bar and Bat Mitzvah students to read through the Torah portion with me. This is always a fun one. And discuss it and figure out how we can take a somewhat irrelevant Torah portion and make it relevant. So at this time, we begin with the blessing before the Haftarah, leading all the way through to the conclusion of her Devar Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bahar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratzah v'divreihem ha'ne'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai Aboher Batorah Uv'Moshe Avdo Uv'Yisrael Amo Uv'Invi'ei Ha'emet V'Tzedek.
You go to this now.
Amzu Yatzarti Li Tehilati Yisaperu Veloti Parata Va'akov Ki Agata Bi Yisrael Lo Heve'atali She Olotecha Uzvatecha Lo Ibadatahani Lo He'evadaticha B'minha V'lo Hogatiha Bilvona. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam sor kol ha'olamim Sadik b'chol hadorot ha'el ha'ne'eman Omer v'aseh ha'medaber u'mkayem shekol davarav emet v'tzedek v'al Torah v'al ha'avodah v'al ha'nevi'im v'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu l'kedusha v'limnuha Lahavod Utifaret Ahakol Adonai Eloheinu Anachnu Modim Lalo Umevarhim Ota Yitbarashim Habafikochai Tamid Leolam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Makadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. Remember, every time you I'm warning you, giving you fair warning.
Welcome to my Bat Mitzvah and thank you for coming. I am so glad you're here to enjoy this special day with me. My Torah portion is called Vayikra, and it speaks about the 5 types of sacrifices, which are burnt offerings to God. These 5 sacrifices include Olah, Minha, Shahat, Hashem, and Zefach, Shalim. As I read this passage, 2 things stuck out to me the most, both around the institution of sacrifice. First, as an animal lover, it's hard for me to imagine that people were regularly killing animals to use as burnt offerings to God. It seems cruel and sad to me, but as I thought more about sacrifice, a second thing stuck with me. We as Jews make sacrifices every day. My friends having their bar/or bat mitzvahs this year might say that Hebrew school, tutoring, and practicing 4 or more times a week is a sacrifice. For some, they sacrifice fun plans or events to attend services on Friday evening or Saturday morning. We all take time away from school and work for special holiday celebrations with our Jewish community. Another sacrifice from the norms of our life. When I think about these sacrifices, they seem insignificant to the greater sacrifice that so many Jews have made. I think of the countless young Jewish men and women who have simply lost their lives for being a Jew, and I realize that our sacrifices are small. Sophia Angat, a 10-year-old Jewish girl born in 1932, made the ultimate sacrifice. She was one of the 6 million Jews killed in the gas chambers at Auschwitz during the Holocaust. For her sacrifice, I'd like to share my day with her today. If you'd like to learn more about her short life, you can find more information in the program. Because the two items above stuck with me the way they did, for my mitzvah project, I will be donating supplies, my time, and a portion of my Bar Mitzvah gift money to the Calvert County Humane Society. Additionally, to preserve Jewish life in my community, I will be donating an Israel bond to Temple Beth Shalom so that I might have some small part in the financial responsibility of my community. There are many people I wish to thank for helping me as I become a Bat Mitzvah. My tutor, Mr. Katzman, thank you for your time, patience, and laughs while we prepared for this day. My Hebrew school teacher, Ms. Headings, who supported me and challenged me throughout the year as I prepared for today. Rabbi Goldstein, who sat with me as I worked to understand my Torah portion and ensured that I was ready to stand in all of you today. Also, thank you to my Temple Solal family, the teachers I had there who were part of the foundation of my Jewish education, and the friends who are here today to support me. Finally, I want to thank all my family for attending today, my friends, Hebrew school class, and Camp Harlem friends. I'm also grateful that each of you took the time to be here, in many cases traveled to share this day with me. And my parents, they helped too. I plan on continuing my Jewish education by attending Shabbat and holiday services, remaining active in religious school, and continuing to go to Jewish summer camp each year. Shabbat Shalom, and thank you all for coming to my Bar Mitzvah.
Well said. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. So, be careful. Here, you know what? You can take this off for now. Taking the microphone off is always a good sign. It pretty much symbolizes that it's not over, and you can't just like take a rest or anything, but all of the parts that she had to learn and prepare for are done. So that's always like a whew. Yeah? Is it a hoof? Nah, you're cool. You're good. Do this all over again one more time? No, not exactly. So you really did a beautiful job, and there are a number of people that want to congratulate you on truly a job well done. You'll all get a chance later, but for now, we've just identified a handful of people to say a few words. And the first person I would like to call upon to share words of congratulations is a representative of our congregation. Vice President of our temple. His name is Jonathan Biran, and he is here to bring greetings and make a presentation. Here, so you just stand right here.
Sophia, congratulations to you. Wonderful job. Today it's a big deal for you. It's a big deal for your family, but it's also a big deal for us as a community, our congregation. When someone, a young person in our congregation, a thoughtful person, takes this step and becomes bat mitzvah. And, just coincidentally, I have to say, this was my Torah portion when I was bar mitzvahed a long time ago. And you really got, I found it a struggle to figure out what to say about it, and you said some very meaningful things, so thank you for that. I have gifts from our sisterhood. We have candlesticks and a Kiddush cup from our men's club, and I hope that one day you will take these out and use them to maybe observe Shabbat. They can stay in the bag from now, but one day when you are ready to, they'll be there waiting for you. And I hope when you do use them, you'll think back on today and remember how proud you made all of us. So mazel tov.
Now, there are two people here who probably know you better than anyone else, and they are your parents. And so, Angela and Dan, why don't you come on up and share a few words of love as well.
Sophia, your dad and I are so proud of how well you did today, leading the congregation in prayer. I'm doing this, by the way, because Dan's going to cry, so that's why it's me. You've worked so hard, and it really does show. When I think about your first years in Hebrew school, there were a lot of tears, lots of bargains made to get you into the classroom, and many hours spent hanging around temple while you were in class, so you knew I was close by. I think that's actually why I got so involved in the education committee and sisterhood at Solel. I was just there all the time. And so I was constantly helping set up, casually joining a meeting, and just a part of everything. Then we joined Temple Beth Shalom over a year ago. And even though you quickly found your place here, it was still hard to think about going through the bat mitzvah process in a brand new place. But you never relented. You connected with your teachers, Mr. Katzman, Mrs. Headings, and Rabbi Goldstein immediately. And you made friends with your classmates and quickly picked up and leaned into the rhythm of a new place. You've worked so hard over the last 15 months, and again, it really showed today. Your ability to navigate change and focus on your goals is one of the things I admire most about you. I know you're not quite 13, but this feels like it's been transformational for you just the same. In the best possible way. You opened up, and the quiet, shy girl that you once were is now an outspoken, kind, generous, and compassionate almost teen. I must admit, this is so difficult to write. You're our only child, and I could talk about how amazing you are literally all morning. I could mention your amazing grades and focus on school, actually seriously amazing this year. Your speed in track, your talent in drawing, your love of books and art, and of course your love for Coco, your family and friends. But none of this quite captures the amazing young woman that you're becoming. Your dad and I are so excited to see what the teenage years will bring. Excited, but also slightly terrified. We know whatever direction you choose to go in, it will be the right one for you, and you'll do it just your way. You've done amazing today, Angel Sweetie. We love you more than anything, almost. Coco, obviously being the exception. I love you.
All right, so I too have an opportunity to share a few words with you and make a presentation. So first, the presentation. Inside this envelope, you see, it was you're the first person, by the way. This is a first, I want you to know, and I'll tell you why. So first of all, let me tell you about the slightly less exciting thing I have to give to you, and that is your bat mitzvah certificate. This is really, really underwhelming. I mean, it's really, when you think about it, I grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I'm a rabbi, right? I have no idea where my bar mitzvah certificate is. and I'm a rabbi. You know where your bar mitzvah certificate is? You do. All right, so I don't know where mine is. The fact is that bar mitzvah and bat mitzvah certificates, it's usually not exactly the thing that is like, oh, can't wait to frame it, right? However, the certificate means a lot, even if you don't really care about the actual piece of paper, right? Because what it's a symbol of is, really hard work and sacrifice, for that matter, as you spoke about. Like, when you're 13 and there's a lot of things that a 13-year-old kid wants to do in their life, and the idea of mastering a Torah portion and a Haftarah portion and is not high on the priority list of things to do when there's social media or TikTok or whatever to be hanging out with. So, and you did. And the fact is that being a bat mitzvah is hard. I tried to kind of reference it by saying that her book was the only one without English transliteration. True. But the even harder part, of course, as you probably can imagine, is when she stood here and chanted with the Torah scroll in front of her. The Torah doesn't have vowels. And of course it doesn't have musical notes in it. And it's written in calligraphy. And so imagine, I like to think of it as like reading Geoffrey Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, but take out all the vowels. And now you're kind of like getting a little bit of and then singing it and doing it in front of 100 people. It's hard. There are plenty of people in the sanctuary that wouldn't want to read 2 sentences of English in front of 100 people, much less chant something without vowels in calligraphy at this point too. So it kind of starts to put things into perspective about this is not easy. And it takes a lot of time and effort and commitment and dedication, and these things are really important to us, and we're so grateful for it, and that's what this certificate's all about. It's not about how you did, it's about what you did leading up to this day. Now, there's another certificate here, and I say this is special because this is the first time that we have upped the amount. So, it used to be that when we gave a gift certificate for travel to Israel, that gift certificate was in the amount of, drum roll please, $250. And I like to describe it as getting you part of the way to Israel. Iceland. And then you would have to find your way to Israel and a month there and back on your own. But from here to Iceland was ours. We have upped that amount from $250 to $3,250. Not bad, right? So that's a big deal. You have to go with Yalla, which is our Reformed Jewish, which is Camp Harlem, essentially. But this is going to make travel to Israel for you when you choose to go with your friends, and I hope you do, so much easier. Wow, this is amazing, amazing thing. And you are the first person at Temple Beth Shalom to ever have been the recipient of this gift certificate, and not one that was considerably less. So this one will actually get you there and do stuff, and maybe you just have to find your way back on your own. So Mazel Tov, and I really, really, really hope you use this. There's, at this point, no reason not to. It's like a birthright trip, but for youth and for longer. So your Torah portion has got lots of things in it, of which, as Cantor Snyder asked me as I sat down when Angela and you and Dan were walking up, he said, what are you going to say about this one? And I said, and I told him, he goes, oh yeah. So your Torah, because it's hard, right? Because your Torah portion has something in it which is kind of unique. The Torah is generally, I lifted up the Torah, you could kind of see it. You can't see what I was talking about, but you can kind of see the fact that it is pretty much laid out, exact. It's perfect. The columns are perfect. Everything is there's no changes. And in this Torah portion, the beginning of the Torah, and you saw it in your practice materials too, in the first word of your portion, the last letter of the first word is little mini. You remember seeing it? Did you ever find out why? No. There's lots of reasons why. So the word is vayikra, and the last letter of vayikra is an aleph, and it's a little mini aleph. Right? So there's lots of reasons. Well, lots of people give their opinions about why it's like that. And, some say that it's in the book of Leviticus where a little kid should start learning Torah. I can't imagine a worse place to start learning Torah than the book of Leviticus. However, I have, in the various different commentaries that I've read, one that has really stood out to me, and really made a difference for me, is that they are trying to draw your attention to the aleph, because you could pronounce that word the same with a different spelling. What do I mean? Aleph is silent. And so the word vayikra, if you take out the aleph and replaced it with the letter hey, it would still be the word vayikra. Okay? So if you change the letter aleph for a hey, same word in terms of the way it's pronounced. But they wanted you to pay attention to that aleph. It was like bold. It was like drawing your eyes to it because it's smaller. And why? It's because if it's a hey, then it means that word is translated as and it happened. But if it's with an aleph, like you read it, it means and he called, which is the translation, and he called. And the rabbis of old say, it's because and he called is an action word. We are doing something. But rather, and it happened is passive. It happened. We weren't really there. We didn't have anything to do with it. Rather, we just stood by and watched. And he called, that's a word of action. That's a word of doing something. And this Torah portion is basically yelling at us to do and not be passive. You will have in your life so many opportunities, whether it's helping other people, whether it's doing your responsibilities, or whether it's just caring for others, or maybe even carrying the mantle of the Jewish community on your shoulders, or at least the Jewish community of your family. And you don't want to be the person that lets things happen and then just responds. You want to be the type of person that makes things happen. There's a huge difference. And if you can go through life making things happen as opposed to just letting things happen, you are going to live a much richer and happier life. And I know that the Jewish community will be stronger because of you. And so what I'd like to do at this time is invite your parents, and of course Cantor Snyder, to join us at the Ark, because we would like to offer you a blessing. It's a blessing of action, a blessing that calls us to be part of the Jewish community that has been passed down from Moses until this day. And so, Dan, Angela, come join us up at the Ark. And for everyone else, we'd like to invite you to please rise.
Perfect.
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
Sophia, those words mean, may God bless you and may God keep you.
Yaher Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May the light of God's face shine upon you and be gracious unto you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May a sense of God's presence always surround you and bless you with peace. Amen. At this moment of joy, as in all of our moments of joy, we use this as an opportunity to thank God for giving us life and for sustaining us and for enabling us to reach this day. It's a blessing we call Shehechianu. If you know it, please join us.
Baruch atah
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehechianu v'kimanu v'hihiyanu lazman hazeh. Please remain standing. We're on page 586 right now as we continue on the bottom of the page, back in our prayer book, 586, bottom of the page. This is called Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, velo samanu כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים.
לפני מלך
מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני מלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. Please remain standing. You can go back to your seats, or you can stay up here, whatever you want, but be careful. Moments like this are filled with so much joy, to be sure, but also we recognize that moments like this can be filled with a degree of struggle and sadness, and that's because we look around and we see missing people here in this room. I know of people from our congregation who are no longer with us. I think specifically of 3 who have passed away quite recently. Helen Yanowitz, Carolyn DeRitter, and Ronald Pinsky. And I know of loved ones whose yahrzeits occur on this Shabbat. Suzanne Cherig, Alan Jacobs, Philip London, Ruben Postal, Marlene Levin, Lois Rubens, Marvin Ginsburg, Herbert Handelsman, Samuel Carden, Bob Plotkin, Harvey Sindler, Ida Harrison, Bert Rubens, and Joseph Burstein. But I also am aware that there are loved ones who are no longer with us from your family. But their presence is definitely felt in this sanctuary at this time. So we begin, of course, with the person who you mentioned in your Devar Torah, who passed away in the Holocaust. Her name's Sophie Angot. But also we remember those who were a little bit closer to your family, Gladys and Ernie Botwinick and George and Rose Botwinick, Lucy Burris, Vincent Burris, Linda Howard, Sonny Travers, Joyce Griffith, and Linda Cease.
And so in gratitude for their lives and linking their names with the rest of our loved ones who have passed away, we remember them now with the words of our mourner's prayer, which is called the Kaddish. It can be found on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah,
Amen.
Bi'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechal beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam ulamei al maya, yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei, v'yitadar v'yitalei v'yitalal shemei dekudsha b'richu, le'ila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechmata, da'amiram bi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav. Huyaseh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to every bereaved heart. Amen. Please be seated. Thank you so much. So our service is rapidly coming to a conclusion. We are so grateful to everyone who was here to celebrate this very special moment with you. Sophia, of course, mazel tov to you and to your mom and your dad and your grandmother. What a great moment for you guys. Thank you to Jonathan Biran for representing the temple, also serving as an usher earlier. We're greatly appreciative to you. Thank you to all who helped participated in the service. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There is still one more group of people who we would like to invite forward to help. And they are your friends from Camp Harlem. Is that correct? So if Harlem friends would come on up. There are some of them. There are all of them. Hello. Where are you guys from? I meant like year-round, I meant.
Pennsylvania.
That's a nice state. New Jersey, Pennsylvania. And? Fabulous. Maryland, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. Was that a hard question? I'm really sorry. Okay. So we are going, come closer over here, Sophia. We are going to do first the Kiddush. Take this. Stand a little closer. Perfect. First Kiddush. Join us, please. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagaf. You can take a sip if you want. A sip or smell or whatever you want. No. How was it? Yeah, I agree with you. Trust me, most people agree with that too. It's wine. Yeah.
Manischewitz.
Manischewitz. Really delicious. All right, next blessing is motzi. Hold this. Join us. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. You can take a piece if you want. You guys can have some too. Sure, that's the best place to take it from.
It's regular challah.
Yeah, I got it. You want some? Okay, that's all right. So I need you guys to do one more thing for me, and that is, you guys get to pass this around to people. So you don't need to give one at a time. You can literally give a handful to people at the row, and they'll pass it to you. Yeah, I got it. So they are passing candy around. Please do not eat this candy right away. This candy is meant for throwing and not for eating. At least throwing at first. Then you can eat it later after you pick it up off the ground. But you throw it at Sophia, and that's how we conclude the service in a very kind of sweet way. So don't eat it. Do not take it out of the wrapper. Keep it in the wrapper. Our closing song is Adon Olam, and you can find it on page 635. 25? 625. I'm pretty sure.
Adon Olam, Asher בטרם כל יצירה נהיה נעשה בחפצו, אזי מלאכתו נקרא, ואחרי ככלות הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה, והוא יהיה בתפארה. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom u'mevorach. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom u'mevorach.
Wait one moment. Before we conclude in a very sweet way, just one final expression from our tradition. Book of Psalms, Zeh hayom asa Adonai nagila v'nismecha bo. It means this is the day that God has made. Let us rejoice and celebrate and be glad. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Now you can pelter with candy.
Simman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simman tov, simman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simman tov, simman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simman tov, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Simman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simman tov, simman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simman tov, simman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simman tov, Yehelanu.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Mazel tov. That concludes our service. Oh, Sophia, I need you for 1 second. You can get up and talk. Here, wait. We have to take a selfie. It doesn't matter here. Cool. Congratulations.